Hey everyone, in this video we will be understanding a little bit more about models in MVC. ASP.NET MVC is chapter 4 on your book. So here we are going to be doing a project called as the MVC Music Store. This was created by Microsoft and we have looked at it a little bit before, but here what we would do is we would do the whole project from the scratch, not just till the controllers and views that we've done before, but we will take it up to creating a data source and looking at the different aspects of the data source. So what we would be using is something called as entity framework. So you can see some of the information about an introduction about entity framework in your book. There are some details there. So for me to get started, I have the Visual Studio open here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a new solution. So as you know, we are using the .NET Web Application Framework. So I'm going to be calling this as make sure that this is one of your repositories so that you can check this in. I would like you to follow along and actually complete this project and check it in. Okay, so we are creating MVC Music Store application. I'm going to click on add unit tests because it's possible that we might continue to use this project to create some unit tests later in this class. So we have the new solution up and ready. As you all are familiar right now, there will be a home controller. There won't be anything in the model. And we will have the basic view under the home, the about, contact, and index. What I always like to do is I would like to do a build first, just to check and make sure everything's fine and I can open the application. The build is successful. I'm going to be using Chrome to open my application, launch my application. Okay, so that's our landing page, the usual. Just double check and make sure everything's working fine. What we are going to do now is to add a controller that is going to be our store, like a music store. It's actually a waste of time to keep coding basic code to create, read, update, and delete. These are basic operations that happen in every application. So MVC developers have created a boilerplate coding framework for us, and that's called as scaffolding. So in scaffolding, what happens is we do get, when we tie a controller to the type of class object we want to create using entity framework, and then we request for the scaffolding, automatically we get boilerplate code. And that's what we are going to be seeing right now. Before we do that though, there is always this chicken and egg question, right? Do we create the database first or should we write the code first? The basic approach available with MVC is the code first approach, or like the model first approach. What this means is we create class objects that need to be stored in a database. We worry about the classes, not the database. And as long as we use entity framework, that framework can convert the .NET objects into a database with tables and rows and columns and all that stuff. So there is a level of isolation in this regard, that a developer doesn't have to wait for the database team to completely go and create all the database and all that stuff, because usually that is like a very intensive process. So by using the entity framework along with the scaffolding features of MVC, we can actually do model first, where we create the model classes and then let entity framework create those tables for us. As part of scaffolding, we also get like boilerplate controllers and views, which is awesome.